Hi, I'm Andy and I know containers. I'm born and raised in Germany and now in Australia. Let me say something up front. Most container conversions out there, they don't fail because people ran out of money or because they picked the wrong layout. They fail because people don't understand the basic physical reality of what they are building. And by the time they realize it, the damage is already done. Quite hidden and of course expensive. The shipping container is not a house. It was never designed to be a house. It's a steel box for moving cargo. That's it. It's really brilliant at that, but the second you try to live inside it, everything changes. And if you don't understand how heat, cold, humidity and material behavior work together in a sealed steel structure, you're not building a home, you're building a trap. And yeah, we are in Australia. People say it's warm here, so you don't have to be worried about cold climates or about condensation. And of course not about insulation. That's complete bullshit. I've seen containers here standing still, sealed, sunny, side exposed, and they rot from inside. Panels warp and the smell start. People say it's just a bit of humidity, but it's a fundamental build failure and it starts long before you even notice it. The core problem is simple. Moisture doesn't disappear. If you don't control it, it stays. And in a container, it stays inside. You can't cheat physics, of course not. If you have a warm air with high humidity and it hits on cold surface, which will always happen somewhere in the container, that moisture will condense. It turns to water and that's thermodynamics. Now here is what most DIYers get wrong. They think, I'll insulate it, that will fix it. So they stick some sort of foam boards, maybe wrap it in foil, then build a timber wall over it and think they're done. What they've actually done is creating a sealed cavity between the steel and their insulation, a hidden air gap. And when the temperature shifts, which happens daily, that pocket of air hits a dew point. Water forms inside the wall. But because it's sealed, it can't dry, so it sits, slowly doing the damage. You won't see it on day one, maybe not even in a month. But give it a full cycle of winter, summer, and you will directly know it. And that's just the invisible stuff. So let's talk about the floor. Every original container floor was chemically treated to withstand international freight regulations. That means pesticide-graded toxins in the timber. I don't care about how many layers of vinyl you lay over it. If you don't rip it out or at least seal it properly with the right products, you're sleeping and breathing over an industrial waste. That's not being dramatic. That's just knowing what these containers were built for. Same goes for heat. People underestimate how violent the Australian sun is. You park a dark painted container in the full sun and the surface temperature can hit 7 degrees Celsius easily. With thermal mass or phase shift, that heat comes straight inside within minutes. And no, throwing up a whirlybird on the roof doesn't fix that. Not in that case. If your walls and roof can't delay the heat wave, what we call phase shift, you will end up with an oven during the day and with a fridge during the night. That's why our approach is different. Over the years, we've built and tested systems that actually work. Using natural insulation like wood fiber materials that regulate moisture instead of trapping it. We don't use PU foam, spray-ins or shortcuts. It's all about timing, letting heat in later, letting moisture out and building a wall that works with the climate and not against it. It's all about making it function. Most people spend 90% of time choosing lights, tiles, and colors and whatnot, and only 10% thinking about what's behind the wall. This ratio should be flipped, because if your wall fails, the whole thing fails. Look, I get it. A container feels easy. It's already a box. You just need a fit out and that's it. But that's wrong. You need to rethink the entire thing, from insulation to vapor control to airflow to materials that can belong in a sealed microclimate. And one last thing, ventilation. Just because you've insulated doesn't mean it breathes. In fact, it probably doesn't. You need intentional airflow, otherwise every bit of moisture you create from breathing, cooking, washing stays inside. And every screw or metal frame corner becomes a rust point over the time. So yeah, I hope this wakes you up a little bit. If you're serious about building a container you can actually live in, not just look at, you need to think beyond pretty photos and van life vibes. You need to understand what's happening in the walls and in the ceiling. And of course in the floor. Because that's where containers normally fail. Not the kitchen layout or the bathroom, it's the structure. If you build it smart, it can be amazing. If you build it lazy, you won't even notice the damage until it's too late. That's the part no one tells you. I just did. If you're serious about building something that lasts and you don't want to end up with rust, rot and regret, then build it right from the start. And if you want to see how we actually build our walls and how we insulate, ventilate and keep these things dry and livable, then stick around. I'll break it all down in one of the next videos. See you in the next one.